It's just a vegetable. You can go to Walgreens, any gas station, buy unlimited cigarettes and poison yourself. But for 40 years in this country, we have imprisoned, destroyed people's lives for choosing to smoke a different plant. Explain that to me, America.
I think Thomas Massey got it right. I don't even smoke pot, but he said that whenever laws apply to onions, should be the same laws that apply to marijuana. Congressman Kitover, or future Congressman Kitover, there's going to be a room on Tuesday in the Brain Trust House, and I spoke to Alan, who is hosting it. He's going to be talking about taxation. I recommended that you attend, and he indicated that he had a bad experience with you previously. And I shared with him that I will show up. I'll be bringing the future congressman, and we'll both behave ourselves. And we're going to talk about taxes with Alan, the Brain Trust.
Great. He's very, very sensitive about vaccines, and I promise you, I won't bring up vaccines once. Strictly taxation.
Maybe what we can do is participate in the conversation, and if you're feeling ornery towards the end, maybe take a parting shot.
Hey, Mojo, were you a little upset that Brent left? I think you were.
Brent? Nah, he'll be back. He'll be back.
Have you thanks for Brent?
Brent is one of those interesting people. I've never seen someone. You'd have to go to boxing, like when Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti, they'd have these wars, right? But at least those guys had some wins on their record. Imagine a guy that takes a pummeling like that, but has never landed a punch and never won a fight. That's Brent. And so there's something about his resilience that I actually admire, if I'll be honest.
No, but there was Astro. Which one do you think is more resilient? Astro?
Brent's got just a lot longer tenure here. So yeah, Brent's been doing this for years.
Oh, okay. I have to picture this. But Astro, he had a little fight. He had a little fight. He had to send him to the queue quite a few times.
Yeah, well, I tend to send people to goo if they don't shut the fuck up. You can disagree with me, you can tell me that you think my idea is stupid, all that kind of jazz. I'll probably have a response for it, but I'll let you get your licks in. The one thing that I do allow is for people to get their punches in. It's not my fault that he doesn't land them.
No, but you were giving him, he was like, you giving it to him, and he just hung in there. I mean, he stayed in there with you. I think you got him fighting back.
Hey, Dr. Mojo, I'd like to ask you a question.
Go for it.
This is in regards to the title of the room. How can we end terrorism? Do you think that all the terrorism we have seen in the past 25 years has been authentic? Or do you think that perhaps the CIA and others in the U.S. government faked terrorism?
I don't think they fake terrorism, but I think it's one of those things similar to having awareness of the Pearl Harbor attack in 1941. I don't know how you classify it, but if you know that something's happening and you allow it to happen because it creates a good narrative for you, it's not exactly that you did it or that you orchestrated it even, but there is some guilt associated with allowing these things to take place.
Well, I'm only asking because our glorious president, Donald Trump, has clearly identified that fake news is real and that MSNBC, CNN, and all the others just spam us with clickbait titles, which is all just a bunch of fluff. So I'm just wondering, with the NDAA being at $1 trillion a year, is $1 trillion a year still needed to fight the war on terror?
It as far as the expenditures that we have, uh, if we were legitimately looking for terrorists with the intent of taking them off the playing field, I would support that. In fact, I would trade all the Social Security dollars. I would trade all of the Medicare dollars. I'd trade a lot of dollars to be able to do that. The problem that I see is that we can know that these guys are in play. What's up with when we hear that the CIA is tracking a terrorist cell, and then we're listening because we're looking at why not just we spot them, we take them out. I think we need a much more zero tolerance policy on this stuff. If we can identify them and we know then just remove them from the field of battle.
Well, let me ask a follow-up. If we were to slash the NDAA by $300 billion a year and bring that annual expenditure down to a mere $700 billion a year, and we were to look at the priorities in the military in terms of lethal force that are used to defend the freedom and the security of this country, would you imagine that $300 billion worth of a jobs program, as they usually call it in a lot of federal agencies, when you ask questions, they say, oh, that's a jobs program. So I'm just wondering, do you think that possibly, at $1 trillion a year, we can't identify $300 billion worth of a jobs program that is used to defend the security and freedom of this country?
Let me answer that. When I found out that the Iranian strike was in the process for over 20 years, they were devising how they were going to do something that couldn't be done. Do you know how much money that costs? And you know how you have to set aside money to do it? And that's just one project. Who knows what they have going? That costs money. You could throw around, you could say 200 billion to go for jobs. You could say that. But this is an expensive planet we live on. And terrorism is an expensive fight that must be fought. And I'm sure glad they spent 20 years, I don't know how many billions, to knock out Iranians' nuclear weapons. So, you throw money, you can spit out any amount you want. You gotta itemize, you gotta look, I'm from the old accounting school, show me the income, show me the expenses, show me. Just can't throw out a $200 billion job program, and who's gonna be against a $200 billion job program? What if that $200 billion job program costs millions of lives because we didn't think right? No, it's not worth it.
Just real quick question. There's an actor that your voice reminds me of. Who is that guy? I can't figure it out.
Christopher Walken.
Not at all. Jules, please.
Well, I have a New York accent.
Ray Romano.
No, it's not Ray Romano.
T-Mac, I hate to interrupt. I gotta ask Jules a question because he's a former IRS, I believe, International Revenue Officer. Jules, why don't you explain to the wonderful people in this room what it was like as an IRS officer, and what was it like just filling out a simple sheet to figure out whether you could take a plane or had to take a car?
When I went overseas, I couldn't take a car. So I don't know what your question is.
I'm just making a joke about determining whether it's more affordable to fly by car or by plane because they make it so complicated as an employee at the IRS. It's a waste of everybody's time. That's part of the jobs program I'm talking about. I'm just saying, Jules, you worked at the IRS and the annual budget there is $60 billion a year. They bring in $5 trillion a year. That's a 0.08 ROI or a 0.86 ROI. Does the Treasury even spend too much money doing what they do, Jules? Is there no automation, no optimization? Is there no cost savings possible?
I think there are cost savings, but you don't know you're talking about the military. You don't know what is being spent. Were you surprised being 20 years in the making? Was it Iranian nuclear bomb program? I was surprised as hell. I didn't have that crap in the IRS. I had to fill out travel vouchers when I traveled. I wasn't allowed to,
know, and people looked it over and said, what the hell, you know, what the hell's that? Well, can I tell you a funny story about that?
I got it. No, Alan Martin. Alan, a lot of other people don't know this. Alan Martin.
Wow, I don't know. He had a lot of
Like
different
Gary
ones.
Alan Arkin, like Gary Glenn Ross. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, maybe I sound like him. I'm not. My throat's a little raspy. But here's a funny story on travel vouchers. They were very strict on travel vouchers. So one of my friends went to London. You know, I think it was with me that time. And he comes back, he fills out his travel voucher. The manager says, look at this. Look at this travel voucher. I can't approve of this. For example, you have a hat. What's this? You put a hat? You bought a hat. She said, yeah, I was walking in the streets of London. There was a heavy wind, blew my hat, went under a bus and destroyed the hat. So he goes, I'm not accepting this travel voucher, do it over. I will not accept it. So he does it over, gives him the travel voucher. It's the same exact amount, but no hat. So the manager goes, how can they say amount? Where's the hat? He goes, you're fine. Sure, we thought that was pretty.
Well, I mean, do you have any criticism of the IRS, any whistleblower statements about egregious spending or activity against citizens of this country?
Nobody was out to get citizens. Look, no one was out to get citizens. Matter of fact, the first year or so, I was in an office audit where you get people making $7,000 back then, and their household expenses was $15,000. So, you know, I had leniency on them. I had leniency on people who were driving cabs and didn't report all their tips like, you know, people don't do. But my leniency changed as I went up the line, and for most of my career I was an international examiner in the financial service area where big dollars.
Imperial Hubbers, I mean, I know Michael Scheuer. I've been reading that non-intervention too for a long time.
Concocted, you know, and that's where I really enjoyed my job. We're not out to, the IRS wasn't out to get the little person. The IRS was to make sure that the laws that the rich people made was followed, and usually it wasn't.
Okay, so I want to jump in real quick. The reason you were asked that was tying it back to the title. John is just bringing up the point that sometimes the U.S. does things that we spend money and don't solve problems as they pertain to terrorism. In fact, he's alluding to the possibility that maybe we might even like some of the terrorism that takes place because it creates a need for budgets to be spent and a jobs program, quote unquote. So let's get back to the title of the room. How can we end terrorism?
Well, you're talking about the military industrial complex.
Well, yeah, well, that's one thing. I want to just holistically think about how can we solve this problem. Can we agree that we have a terrorism problem globally?
Yes.
So what are we going to do to fucking solve it? I have some ideas.
I think that.
But I hold on. If I share my thought, you guys will think I'm crazy. I might even get clipped. So I want to hear your thoughts. 'Cause I don't want
Save it to the end.
I think that, so, speak on this, particularly in the shoes would be option B, which is outlined with immigration. The reason I say that is because of the fact that it disassociates us with countries that are majority Muslim and could be a risk chances of ending Islamic terrorism.
Moderators, put me in the queue, please.
Okay, you're in the queue. You're right behind the next person that might want to speak. Okay, let's go.
Jules, were you going to say something?
Well, since somebody's speaking, you can't do it on the cheap. That's number one. You can't. Terrorism is something they want you to spend a lot of money to fight them. It's like whack-a-mole. They come popping up all over the place. So, Roger, you can't do it on the cheap.
What about this? Here's a thought. I'm gonna throw a fucking thought at you, okay? Okay? You ready? We give, instead of the $1 trillion that we spend half that giving it to Israel, okay? And again, you know how I feel about foreign aid, so bear with me on this thought. We give the money to Israel. We tell them to gather all the intel, and then they're going to train the troops. We're going to build an army, and the army is going to be built off of the people that we detain that have entered this country illegally. And then what we do is we tell them, look, we're going to ship you over to Iran. You're going to do a land war with Iran. You're going to go ahead and defeat the IRGC, and once the victory is completed, you will have U.S. citizenship. What do you guys think?
No good.
You hate Mexicans that much?
Wait, who gets the citizenship?
The Mexicans get the citizenship. We detain all of the illegal aliens, and then we put them aboard a Navy ship. We train them for war. We send them over to Iran, and Israel will do all the intelligence gathering, the war planning, and then the troops on the ground will be would-be U.S. citizens that'll go and fight the war. They'll be from places like Panama and Nicaragua and Mexico and places like that.
Well, I think you're describing the Bay of Pigs invasion almost to the T.
Yeah, but this is the Bay of the other pigs.
It's like send some pigs to the other pigs bay, like transatlantic pig sending.
Our big problem is fighting terrorism. Number one, isn't cheap. And number two, maybe even more important, it is not so constitutional, if you know what I mean. We have to break some eggs, to make the omelet. And that's probably a bigger problem than the money. We could fix it.
Especially with the cost of eggs these days, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. It goes up all the time, yes.
Can I just say
So
that
we got a big problem.
borrowing and spending more to fight terrorism with the ridiculous hope to think that you can actually end it would be the dumbest thing we as Americans can do. If we don't reprioritize our current spend and drastically cut spending, we won't kill two birds with one stone, and we have to start taking a multi-approach action to solving the fiscal crisis and ending the security crisis, which is always an illusion. There is an illusion of security. And spending more money and borrowing more money does not bring you the security that you think it does.
You not only brought up a great point, you linked the two, and they are linked. You're right. We are so much in the hole financially that we can't prioritize our spending.
Do you think it would help if we just educated the world? Because most of these terrorist groups are Islamic fundamentalists, right? What if we just did a dropped leaflets and educated the population of all these Muslim countries that the Prophet Muhammad was a pedophile? Do you think that might help?
No.
I think that might help with our prisons, basically, because who get attracted to Islam if we just, if they found out that Muhammad had sex with an adult, that might make them reconsider.
They have kindergarten classes that talk about killing Americans and killing Jews and killing other religions. You got to stop that culture. You gotta allow for Islam to exist, but not the extreme Islam. If we take any extreme culture, which preaches they're correct, only their culture should exist. It's not, we're going to have conflict and war. I don't know if we can do this, but we have to stop the extreme culture. How do you go into other countries and make it illegal to teach hate of other religions, women, or whatever? You can't.
Wait, hold on. No, but hold on. You got to slow it down. Before they write the textbooks of killing people, they bought into this idea that the perfect man was this guy that married a 6-year-old and fucked a 9-year-old. I think what we have to do is we have to say, look, pedophilia bad, and ergo Prophet Muhammad bad, ergo Islam bad. Like, and again, no disrespect intended to any of the people that have been, subjected to this cult. I have a lot of empathy for you if you happen to be a cult member. We can deprogram you once we end Islam.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just don't think.
Wait, let's hear from Frank. Frank, I don't think he's had a chance to speak. He has a pink ticket. Frank, go ahead. Hit me with all the wisdom you got.
Yeah, thank you. I think as long as the board demands terrorism, so when the demand is there, supply will be created. Doesn't matter how you behave. So the real problem is
This is
how
called
much
Clubhouse.
the board demand.
This is how can we end terrorism?
That is a question.
Oh, okay. I know this is going to sound extreme, especially from somebody that doesn't like initiating force on nonviolent people, but wouldn't it be easier if we just kind of said, hey, if you're living in a place that's really sandy and you worship a prophet that fucks kids, like, what if we just glassed the whole fucking thing? What if we just said, you know what, fuck the norms, we're just going to pack up the bombers, move the subs, and just fucking nuke the shit out of the entire fucking region. I'm not saying I'm advocating for that. That sounds genocidal. I'm just throwing it out there as a thought experiment. That covers my ass from getting clipped. Go ahead.
I'll take that as it. Okay, but do you believe that a religion that tells you to go to a land because God promised you 2,000 years ago is also like...
Oh, if you're talking well, are you talking about the Jews?
Like extremism, like Christian extremism, evangelism.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. I can Phoenix. I hear where your question is coming from. Let me just say this. I think that when you have a derivative interpretation of other texts, for example, this idea of the Abrahamic religions. Let me get this point across to you guys. And no offense to my Christian brothers and sisters or even District members that are part of Islam. I want to take you out in an area. The Bible, right, outside of the first 5 books that make up the Torah, you have created fan fiction. Now, it's old fan fiction, and it's a great work of art. It's not exactly real. It's just kind of like saying, hey, that was a cool idea. That's what we need to organize people. Let's write our own book. And then you guys just started adding to this expanded universe for Star Wars. It's just, yeah, you can make money off of it, but you're not really making good art.
Each house
shall be the judge.
Brooklyn and is traveling there and taking someone else's home because if you don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it because it is mentioned in his book that God promised him that place 2,000 years ago. What about that?
Phoenix, you're bringing up a good point here because, look, who the fuck are we to argue with God? Like you said yourself, God promised it to a chosen group of people, and you know who that chosen group of people is not? These fucking phony-ass motherfuckers that came up with the name Palestinians. What the fuck is a Palestinian? It's like, Palestine is like Narnia. It does not exist. You would agree with that, right, Phoenix?
Yeah, it seems like what you said about it, like they say,
Phoenix, if that's the logic, then as an East African, because I'm Ethiopian, I would appreciate all you Arabs and Berbers to leave North Africa. Because you weren't there either first. So leave Africa.
Dude,
so I don't think that Arabs are in Africa because God promised exactly like 2,000
Phoenix, hold on. Phoenix, hold on. I want you to respond to what the woman just said. I know that the delicate sounds of a woman's voice is probably something that you're not used to hearing, but I want
that's a stereotype.
I know, but I want you to respond to what she said. without going on your own little soapbox, can you respond to what she said? Because when I heard her say something brilliant. We call that in America a mic drop.
Yeah, I was responding while you interrupted me, like, can you control yourself so I can respond to her? So yeah, she mentioned that Arabs are in Africa, and I don't think that is motivated because God promised them Africa 2,000 years ago.
It doesn't matter the motivation. Why are you giving North Africa? I need you to leave. I need all you Berbers, whatever. You're not African. You shouldn't even be there.
Yeah, so
Applies
applies
to Lebanon, Syria,
does that apply to like Native Americans?
I think it doesn't apply to anybody. Phoenix, it doesn't apply to anybody. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, so yeah, it doesn't apply to
A
anyone.
lot of people watching this live stream. Amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't
This is
apply
called
to
Clown
anybody,
House,
but
aka
if a
Clubhouse.
religion teaches
Subscribe
that you
now.
should go into a
Thanks for
place
joining me on this
2,000
YouTube
years
live
ago,
stream.
isn't that
There's only
like
6 people
religious
here. What the fuck? I thought
criticism and like religious kind
Their
of
religion doesn't teach that. Their religion doesn't teach that. Okay,
so you go to a certain place and
Who's
consider
smoking
that
hot?
Jerusalem to be the kind of holy city, but
She's
it's a
smoking
religious
hot.
thing, right?
or it's a cultural thing, but certainly their religion doesn't teach that they should obtain Israel by force or something like that.
Yeah, I think that even Palestinians are cultural about their land and
So
there are Palestinians who are atheists, there's Palestinians who are Christians, there are Palestinians who are Buddhists.
that is
Hold on one second, Jason. Two rules of the road here. We're gonna let people finish what they're saying, try to make one point, maybe 2 at the most, and then once you're done, then somebody will respond. I think this will work better if we let people say what they have to say, even if we disagree with them. Phoenix is probably gonna have opinions that are less popular at this stage, but even more reason to give him space and give him grace, and then we can respond to him in whichever way we see fit. Just don't interrupt. The interrupting is the problem.
Yeah, relax, chill, don't like freak out.
So Phoenix, you're in the middle of saying something. I think Roger wanted you to finish.
Yeah, Phoenix, I was saying all of that to say, please finish uninterrupted. Jason, you heathen.
Yeah, so the criticism is that there is a certain religious stuff going on with Muslims not being able to like there is the bad intentions towards the others, right? And then yeah, I agree with you that you should not actually, people should not mix politics with religion, right? But the thing is that there is a man that went into the Middle East, he's from Brooklyn, and he went there because a religious text told him that God promised him that place 2,000 years ago. Is it something that motivated by religious kind of, wit reading?
Sure, that's motivated by religion. And I think 2 wrongs don't make a right, so maybe we could discuss whether this guy...
But Jason, 3 rights make a left, though.
So we could discuss whether this guy did a wrong by going there. I don't think he did. But it wouldn't change the fact that when you look at various communities all over the world, there are some sub-communities of Islam that have a real hard time following the law in their chosen countries. Okay? Not all of them. In fact, many of them are quite law-abiding. You see earlier waves with British France, for example, were quite successful. But we do see in various parts of the world some very troubling stuff in connection with Islamic society. And sometimes in their own countries too, Islamic people have a lot of trouble with extremism. The greatest victims of Islamic terror are Muslim people in Muslim countries. So I don't know that we can say all we want about this guy from Brooklyn, but it doesn't change the fact that there is legit criticism and a legitimate concern regarding Islam. We can also talk about this guy from Brooklyn, but one of these is not going to pay for or solve or cancel out the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally
to be honest, this is just a big like conversation and argument because they don't want a two-state solution. They want a one-state solution. So it doesn't even matter. These are
Just here for the comments. I don't know your number. Did you text me?
Can I?
Yeah.
I think terrorism as a whole is more sense our nation has had to deal with in the last 40 years.
Is that Rich? That's Rich.
And I'd like to mention this too, regarding of immigration.
You want
Immigration has been
the link
struggled
to the clown house? It's in the muff.
for the economy of the whole world. Therefore, I don't think you have a right to say Arab speaks Africa because immigration is good for the world. And the point is you have to
Oh, it's good for Africa. So Africans have to share the land, deal with y'all, but no one else should.
No, no. MG, we're all from Africa. My answer.
Oh, you want me to add you to the group chat?
That's not the point. The point is
70,000 years ago.
This is a genuine conversation. They want a one-state solution. That's the whole point. They want a one-state solution. They're not interested in having an honest conversation and finding a solution. Because, because of Islam, they just want they want a caliphate.
Well, but some Muslims don't. Okay, I don't think that Saudi Arabia wants a caliphate. I don't.
They don't already have a caliphate?
A lot of these countries do not want a caliphate. They want some variation of constitutional monarchy or democratic republic or various other things.
Actually,
So,
yeah. Actually, Islamism was created as something to stop what was called Arabic nationalism, which was a little bit communist and socialist in its nature, right? And there was this struggle between communism and capitalism, which is that's why someone here masturbating.
Yeah, Johnny Boy, mute your mic or get kicked from the stage.
My bad, dude. My bad. I'll just not tell you. Sorry.
Nacho cheese!
My bad, guys. I'm sorry. I'll go on mute now. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, I feel like this is a good segue, Phoenix, because I don't want you to center yourself. But, Phoenix, in 3 sentences or less, tell us how you would end terrorism.
good question. Good question, Doc.
So I think that we end privilege kind of mentality and a certain status quo that make a certain people privileged and a certain people not privileged, and there's this kind of equal rights for everyone, and the well-being of everyone is being considered, not just a small minority to have well-being as a priority, and the other people are going to have well-being as secondary. That's a good start.
Are you talking about America or in Islamic countries, like in Syria?
No, I'm talking about capitalism and capitalistic materialism and that.
So you're talking about America. I'm talking about America.
No, about the worldwide. So Islamic countries are capitalist also.
Oh, they are. They are. Okay. All right. Got me.
Yeah, I think socialism is really good. So.
Hold on. Let me clear my ears out. Did you say, I just want to make sure I wasn't in the matrix, did you say that I think socialism is really good?
Yeah, I think socialism, equal rights for everyone, there is no privilege, kind of,
The hell do you say? Hold on. Listen. You're free to practice whatever fucking religion or be whatever cult. But when you come into my space, you son of a bitch, talking about socialism if it's a good thing. Good for who? Good for who? The people that you've stolen from?
Huh? No, it's good for the world that all people have well-being, to be taking consideration of the well-being of everyone, not just to exploit others just for.
Wait, hold on. Let me explain something. You shut up, you son of a bitch. You shut your mouth.
It's going,
Shut your mouth. You
shut your mouth.
You control your
No,
hormones,
no,
man.
you shut your mouth. You shut your fucking stinking goat fucking mouth. You shut your fucking socialist mouth, you communist.
Wow.
Shut your fucking mouth. Listen to me. I like what Friedrich Hayek says about socialists. If socialists understood economics, they wouldn't be socialists. Carry on.
Well, you know, Phoenix, you're quite a contrarian, aren't you? You work in a bookshop in Mecca, and you are a confirmed LGBTQ. So I'm just wondering, how do you?
Wait, he lives. Wait, hold on. He lives or works in Mecca?
Yeah, he works in a bookshop, and he's gay. He's a gay man living in Mecca.
I think we should wait till an Islamic holiday and all the Muslims are in Mecca doing that little fucking weird thing where they're like in a slow motion fucking punk rock pit. And I think what we should do is we should drop the mother of all bombs on Mecca. What do you guys say?
Oh, okay, that's what I call terrorism then.
Too soon? Too soon?
Yeah,
I mean-
remember one of the introductions to the mosque people from Ground Zero was saying that, that Muslims can build a mosque at near Ground Zero, and we can build a synagogue in Mecca.
Great point. And why? And,
Hate by speaking like that. I don't know why you're doing that. Every action has a reaction, but you're creating hate. I don't know why.
well, why don't you think it's okay that Ben Gvir can't pray in Jerusalem wherever he wants? Why do Muslims in Jerusalem get special treatment? Why can't Jews pray where Muslims pray?
I don't mind, personally.
Yeah, you don't mind.
Bring attention to the fucking poem
I don't
about.
mind.
Hold on, hey, everyone, stop, everyone mute yourself, listen, there's a poll of, it's not a trick question, somehow, some people are getting it wrong, but, how many zeros are in 37 trillion? Well, let John Kitover talk to you about what the 37 trillion might represent.
Listen, the IRS that Jules and I used to work for brings in $5 trillion a year. We spend $7 trillion. In 2050, if you ask Grok, at $50 trillion in debt in 2050, we will be paying $4 trillion a year on the national interest, which is about an 8% APY. Your Congress, your senators have had black cards, and they keep borrowing on your behalf. And what are you getting for it? You're getting shitty medical service. You're getting immigrants pouring in through the gaps. Your children's future has been mortgaged. We have the biggest mortgage on the biggest clown house you've ever heard, and we're spending $1 trillion a year in national interest. And when I ask people on Clown House, what is 100 times 1,000, they can't even do that simple mathematical equation. Even though.
Hold on, let's put this to the test. Phoenix, what's 100 times 1,000?
100,000. Well, besides.
Man, wow, the phone a friend was powerful.
Okay, wait, Phoenix. Phoenix, what is 900 times 1,000?
Okay, so I missed the mathematics class. I think mathematics is boring. Poetry is better.
Got it. So, as we have proven again that Clown House is actually an ESL training app, and you're all just wasting your time centering Phoenix.
And Phoenix wants to divvy up the money, but he can't
I
carry
love
it.
Congressman. I think he's a decent person.
Hey, Phoenix, I got a question for you. How many zeros are in 37 trillion?
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's in the title. I gave you that one. But how many is it?
I don't know because I believe in socialism.
Wait, you don't under... That makes sense. You believe in socialism, so you can't do math. Perfect.
No, I don't think that there should be trillionaires.
No, Mojo, he just likes being social. That's what he thinks social is.
No, I don't.
Hold on, Phoenix, hold on. Phoenix, no, hold on. Jesus Christ, if the first time I tell you to fucking hold up, if you just muted yourself, you goddamn mic, I wouldn't have to repeat myself. I just want to say that on the bright side of this poll, nobody believes that there's only 10 zeros in 37 trillion. So there is that. Nobody selected 10.
Mojo, can I ask another very simple but yet important question?
I hope you do.
If we wanted to take the national debt from $37 trillion to $30 trillion in 2 years, can anyone explain that simple math to me?
It's not that simple because the answer would be 3.5 trillion per year plus interest. And if you're trying to calculate the interest on that, the interest on the 37 trillion is about a trillion a year. So in over 2 years, if you wanted to pay it down, you would be closer to 4.5 trillion per year in order to pay it down 7 trillion. Thank you.
So let me ask one more question for anybody in the room. If we were to double the tax rate in America and take us from an average of, say, 40% to 80%, how much would we collect in income tax? Thank you.
Not enough. Not enough. Not
Well,
enough.
if we take in $5 trillion and we double the tax rate collection to twofold, that would be how much? $10 trillion a year.
Yeah, but you're saying that's
Have to cut the operating cost, and then you're going to have the expectation that the top 5% are willing to take that and not park their money overseas, would make the U.S. a whole.
Brad's right. Bingo, Brad's he's right.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I heard that the U.S. national debt, the reason it exists because there is a demand out there, a lot of money out there that they like to park the money in the secure place. Therefore, the U.S. created bonds and debt in order to sell those bonds for people to invest on a secure habit. That's the reason that exists.
I'm just saying, if we were to raise the tax rate to 10 trillion, but yet we still spent 7 trillion, and we only netted 3 trillion, and we were to take that off the deficit, off the total, we would still be at 34 trillion. So what I'm trying to point out is that short-term, long-term, we're already at a critical level of debt. And if we can't cut Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, national defense, if we don't stop borrowing and spending, we are all a bunch of what?
Right.
Broco.
Tax increases in tax is not going to cut the deficit. Just remember that. It only pays the interest. By the way, since we're talking about this, that fucking Powell should lower the interest rate. He's playing politics, and you know he's hurting every one of us on this in this room right now. He's killing us, and Trump is right. And I hope Trump fights his ass.
Well, home inventory is through the roof. There's more sellers now than ever before, but there's no buyers because nobody wants to pay triple what they were paying in 2021. You'd be a sucker to get a mortgage at 6-7% based on how other people bought their homes at 2%, 2.5%.
Well, I think when the world became more safe place to invest elsewhere than U.S., that's the time the interest rate will go low. When the interest rate goes low, then people will sell the bonds and invest somewhere else. But until that demand is there, there's the reason the interest rate will stay high because people get interested to purchase those bonds.
Well, I hate to ask maybe a controversial question, but how much did the United States spend on the COVID-19 response since 2020?
The question is, why did the United States spend the money and not make China spend the money? That's the question.
Well, another question, yet another question to ask would be, why did the U.S. pay for gain-of-function research in a lab in Wuhan, China, to create a virus in the first place?
And since we're asking the question, why is Fauci walking around a free man? Great question, Robert.
Because they're prosecuting you.
I got a film coming out October 19th. It's called Last Dragon. And it answers the $1 trillion question. Mojo will have you come to party at the theater, and Mojo can tell you more about that.
Yeah, hey, I'm waiting for the details on the specifics for which theater it's going to be in. I'm guessing it'll be the big AMC in downtown Seattle. But we're on the premiere dates. I will make sure that we have all the film enthusiasts out there, and we are going to be selling merchandise. We're hoping that we can get the Last Dragon himself, Timok, to come and sign autographs.
Mojo, you don't need to sell anything. It's just party and have a good time, and don't invite any losers. Well, invite everybody. October 19th, the Last Dragon releases to AMC theaters. Get your tickets. Get the reminder on the app. And then
Do you think we could have a show enough costume party there? You think that would be enough?
what they did, if you go to my Instagram, you'll see. Well, they forget about all that. They have Southern University marching band playing all these huge bands, you know, like musicians playing the glow, right? The glow. And I thought of having 50 show-ups show up in the marching and when they do it again. You know? What do you think of that?
I love that. By the way, that's a great idea. I want to see that video because there is a junior high school that typically wins the top band throughout the state. That's not too far from where I live, and I can go and talk to the music teacher there.
Yeah, I would expect it to be Bill's.
Yeah.
YouTube, they put the Last Dragon marching band. Yeah, I would just listen to it.
This is amazing. It's amazing. Welcome out, Normo. Norm, off the top of your head, how many zeros in 37 trillion?
I'm gonna say 12.
That's a good guess, my friend. You're better than some of the people here that are answering this question.
Is it true? Am I right? I think it's
Yeah, you nailed it. It's exactly 12.
well.
I put it in the chat right there if you want to take a look at the marching band playing this one. I don't have them in the streets yet, they're on the stage.
I love it. Has anybody here not seen The Last Dragon? Anybody? Is any Luddites here that just didn't see this? By the way, Timok, I was looking at films that you, in 1985, when it was released, that Last Dragon outperformed in terms of the domestic box office. It wasn't quite up there with like Beverly Hills Cop or whatever. What was the other one that came out?
Oh, you don't know this. Maybe I did tell you. You know they didn't promote the film because they had this thing about, well, it's more of a black thing, and it was diverse, but they weren't promoting across the country. So it went to number 2 in the country, dropped out.
Well, I would highly encourage people, even without the promotion, go look at how it did in comparison to some of the movies that you've grown up on, that you love, think of as classics. It actually did perform pretty well. I think it was like 27, 31, for the year. I mean, there's a lot of films that did more money.
32 or 33 at that time, and it was a $10 million or $12 million budget at that time. And they skipped some money. The producers sell some money.
And you have to imagine that when it got to video, the secondary market, it did very well, because I know that's where I was consuming it regularly.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Enough about me. Back to the board conversation.
I saw the adult version. I don't know if I saw the original.
Can I just ask another important question to the room? Who here believes that the COVID-19 vaccines are 100% safe and effective? And if so, why do we keep hearing stories about myocarditis, heart attacks, as well as turbo cancers?
Are you suggesting, John, that the cure was worse than the disease?
Yes, was the vaccine worse than the virus itself was our emergency coordinated response from the Pentagon, known as Operation Warp Speed, which pumped in hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars in funding. Were we our own worst enemy in this particular situation? Anyone?
Yes, we were. We didn't follow science, we panicked. I remember standing 4 feet back of somebody in a store. I got yelled at for not standing 5 feet with my mask on like an idiot. You're right. You're right. By the way, because we handled this so poorly, as you said, we can expect something in the future that the banking
I do, yeah.
handled just as poorly.
I don't know if I got the anthrax vaccine. I'm pretty sure they vaccinated the army
But why do you think that they
in
did
Georgia.
that?
I'm sorry, what was your question, Ann?
Why do you think they did that?
Well, I saw a document from the Bush administration that this plandemic, scandemic was always in the works, because prior to the innovation of big tech platforms, there was this thing called Big Pharma. And guess where all your taxpayer dollars have been going for the past 30 years? To Big Pharma and big health insurance companies. So what I'm saying is this most definitely was one of those conspiracy theories that wasn't a conspiracy theory. It was your government and the Pentagon and Pfizer and Moderna and J&J and Bill Gates and the media orchestrating one giant group think of stupidity. And then people went to their local fire department community center and got vaccinated as if it was free candy for a baby. Yeah, when my mom told me that she decided to go get this free shot, I'm like, how stupid could you be that you're going to get a government-administered shot? None of this would have been possible if it wasn't for the Federal Reserve and our ability to borrow. The first act is called the HEROES Act in March of 2020. Go look at the congressional record and look how the spending's associated with ramping up production, creating a $100 billion corporation out of thin air to make this vaccine. Do you know how many Indian manufacturers came out of the woodworks and manufactured this patented vaccine? This is a multi-year project. There's a lot of information in this, but this vaccine has caused turbo cancers and myocarditis. Doctors are speaking out. It's all on X, but you'll never hear it actually put into the spoken word on MSNBC while Rachel Maddow screams about Trump and Pritzker screams about redistricting in Texas. This is all just swept conveniently under the rug. There will be no repercussions. Pfizer's been given immunity, and Senator Kennedy recently pulled funding for mRNA. So there's, it's a war against a multi-trillion-dollar cartel, just in the same way that there's a banking cartel, there is a pharmaceutical cartel, and they want your taxpayer dollars. And they need your taxpayer dollars because they're offering you products that you would never buy and go and take out a loan to purchase unless your federal government decided on your behalf to give your future to a big pharma corporation for your health. Does this sound like healthcare to you?
Let me add insult to injury, Congressman. I was not in the pharmaceutical group, but they get tax breaks up the ass. On top, with all the money they're making and all the deals they have going, they get unbelievable tax breaks. So not only are they killing us, we're paying for them to kill us. That's how bad it is. You are right.
Do you think that we'll ever be able to see justice? Or like any of our family members that have
No, I have friends who are really sick and the doctors say it was from the shots. I have friends who died and it was from the shots. We will never seek justice, no. How are we going to seek justice?
You can get justice in the social media court of justice. That's about it. And unfortunately, you can't hire a lawyer and get any compensation.
Right, there's no compensation. I have friends who had so many things happen to her. She's in the midst of losing her eyesight now, skin diseases, everything, all from the shot. And every lawyer says we can't touch it.
You sure she doesn't have AIDS?
She's got AIDS. All the doctors say it's from the shots.
You know, it absolutely amazes me that some people don't believe in the simple concept of cause and effect. So autism rates are through the roof. Through the roof. I wonder, are 59, 89 injections for a newborn baby necessary for a 3-year-old baby? It's insane what we're doing to ourselves. We are poisoning ourselves nonstop, and we're borrowing to do it. This is the sickest and the dumbest situation, I think, and nobody can see it. It's right there, right in front of you. It's called cause and effect.
Which part do you disagree?
Well, I mean, it's like,
I believe that the vaccine can be harmful. I believe that it can cause many of the things we're talking about. But I also think that it probably saved lives. It saved my life, even though I don't take anymore. I mean, I was an asthmatic. I got a really bad case of COVID, even with the vaccine. And I shouldn't say I got really bad cases. It attenuated the pathogen to a degree that I was able to survive it. So in some cases, it saved lives.
Okay, but the amount of people that lives were saved versus the adverse reaction. I mean, I know you're not Grok, Dr. Jordan, but, let's call a spade a spade. This isn't a vitamin booster to, help you. You're infecting people with spike proteins and causing genetic disorders in human bodies. Next thing you know, Zuckerberg and his wife open an anti-inflammation, $100 billion nonprofit. They're connected, Dr. Jordan. We're poisoning ourselves. We're not protecting ourselves. We are poisoning ourselves.
Let me ask you a question. Can everyone see the poll book? Because I only have 6 people.
Dr. Jordan went to jail.
So if you guys need to refresh your the poll feature, you guys might need to refresh your app if you can't see it. But if you see it, go ahead and respond to one of those things, because we'd like to get some votes in here to figure out what you guys think. Is the vaccine worse? Is the disease worse? We're not sure.
Well, you got these beautiful current station. You gotta get some help to promote this right here.
Listen, sometimes I prefer smaller rooms, especially when we got the lovely ladies here. We don't need a sausage party in here, but we can share the room if you'd like. But it is ladies' night, so I will be modding all the pretty ladies. And if you're a lady and you don't get modded, maybe I don't think you're pretty.
I don't want to bust your entourage, but what do you mean worse? Cost-wise, health-wise, future-wise,
Christ.
I know.
How many characters you want me to write in this fucking thing?
Well, okay. Well, you can explain it now. I mean, little kids didn't go to school for, 2 years? I mean, that fucked them up. I'll catch you right up there.
Is it a net, which was worse? Net, the vaccine or the disease?
Okay, you got me. I'll vote. I'm voting.
You mean you were holding up your vote because you were being pedantic? Is that what you're saying?
No, because I didn't see it up on top, like you said, go look up top.
Oh, for God's sake.
Okay, there we go. Got my vote.
There we go, we got 14 votes. 15 votes. This room doesn't close until I get 1,000 votes. I'll keep this room going all week. I'll keep it going all week. Fuck it.
You said 1,000?
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah.
Well, just 985 more votes.
Wow, Tony. John, do you want to ask me your question? We have a qualifying question for people here. John, do you want to ask him the basic qualifying question?
Yes, what is 500 times 1,000?
Oh, my goodness.
500 times 1,000 is 500,000.
All right. He can stay. Man, you may be smarter than a fifth grader.
Mojo, could we vote twice like a real elections?
Hope you're dead.
Okay, that's good. That's good. When he came to bring it, that was quick. I was so quick, Lovejoy. It was so quick. I love this guy.
Dr. Jordan, there is something called the placebo effect, so it could be that that was it. Well, but in my old field, when I was infectious disease biologist, we always use the model.
What are you eating, Dr. Jordan?
Sorry. We always use the model prevent, control, eradicate, right? And then we use the medical model, which is based on vaccinology. So we don't know that, like, if you don't vaccinate a population and you allow a pathogen to mutate, we could all be dead. So yes, there are negatives. There are certainly negatives, but I'm not so sure that we end up saving saving all of civilization, because that's a little dramatic. But the point is that,
well, that is a little dramatic considering the fact that I had COVID, and when I had COVID, I got some cold chills. I've had common colds that impacted me worse. Certainly bronchitis is worse. The flu knocks me out. I'm not saying that people might not have been impacted in a more severe way than I was, but I have to tell you, I think it was oversold. When I got it, I was freaking the fuck out. I was like ordering ivermectin. I was like, man, and the cold chills, that's all that did me.
I was fine with it.
What do you have it, Dr. Jordan?
Well, I'm on that same road we were on, Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah.
But I'm having an organic Southwest style chicken wrap from Trader Joe's. If you had one, I eat one of those every fucking day.
Yeah, you're gonna have to back channel me that, because but I'm glad you're not eating at the place we went to, because I would feel a little weird about that. I feel like you're cheating.
No, I'm in my car because I gotta go to the back.
He's in my car. I used to go to Trader Joe's in Hollywood right there. I'm up behind. To get that sandwich over and over.
Hey Tony, remember when we used to argue about stupid shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? You answered a math question. Now you're part of the in crowd.
I'm pretty smart.
No, I wouldn't go that far, but you're part of the in crowd now.
Let me read to the room what I wrote to Grok, and I added A.G. Huff, and many of you know him from this app, and Augustus, because he was a whistleblower who clearly showed that Peter Strzok and Fauci were funding Wuhan. He wrote a book about it. But this is what I asked Grok. Hey Grok, so you are 100% sure that the COVID-19 vaccines are and were safe and effective? Please explain why turbo cancers have been associated with the vaccines, but why you don't believe there's a connection. Grok wrote back, I'm not 100% sure of anything in science, but evidence from the CDC, FDA, and study shows COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective, reducing severe illness. 33% VE against ED visits in 2025. Turbo cancer is a myth. Claims stem from misinformation, anecdotal reports, and observational data like a Japanese study showing 2022 mortality rises, but it doesn't prove causation. Factors like pandemic delays and screening explain increases. No rigorous evidence links vaccines to cancer in any way whatsoever. Then, PhD Dr. Andrew Huff wrote, Grok, that is false. Have you analyzed the DMED data, which clearly showed a dramatic increase in neoplasms among mRNA-vaccinated members of the military? Grok wrote back that DMED data initially appeared to show spikes in neoplasms and other conditions in 2021, but this was due to underreported baselines for 2016 to 2020 from a database error. Official DoD corrections confirm no vaccine-related increase. Rates remain stable or decline. Claims of dramatic rises are based on uncorrected, flawed data. Andrew Huff wrote back, awesome question. For the record, I am in your camp, it seems, on this issue. So, to me, you can just go off of this artificial data. It's like Chicago, the mayor releasing the crime statistics, or the FBI and MSNBC releasing crime statistics. Crime is down, down, down. Really? And you think vaccine cancers and myocarditis are non-existent or less than 1 in 100,000? Give me a break. Grow the fuck up.
Just jumped on his chicken sandwich.
I have a question for the group. I just heard not too long ago the term long COVID. Anybody hear of it? Is it true? Or anybody know anything about it? Long COVID.
Yeah, true.
J-Mac, you said you first. What? Talk to me.
Yeah, it's pronounced time off. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I think there are people in our land that long COVID. Yeah, anytime your immune system is compromised, you're not fired, it's not, you're not firing. Your body's not being fired, minerals and these kind of things would be healthy. You're going to deal with fatigue. And I think that's one of the symptoms of long COVID is fatigue.
So, is that caused by COVID?
That's what some people say that. I mean, not a doctor. Some people say that. I'm sure not John can read you Google this. Oh, hi, MG. Hi, everybody. How are you guys? Wow, that great. Guys, I went to let's talk people.
So let me ask a follow-up question to this very dramatic vaccine conversation. Who here would go to Walgreens right now and get another COVID-19 vaccine injection to protect them from future variants of the COVID-19 virus?
I would not.
What else do you do?
Roswell film says that they said we had to have the shots. You know what I did? I made up my own pads. I was not getting a shot.
You may have committed a felony, young man. You should be careful. The CDC police are going to send a secret squad to your house and have you arrested and vaccinated.
I might have, but this girl talked to me. She said, "Yeah, good, sugar." You know, I'm like, oh shit, I can go to work now. Yeah, I don't like taking shots. Definitely putting shit in my body that I don't know what the outcome might be.
Who here thinks that getting an annual flu shot is also a great idea?
Nobody.
I don't know.
I get it.
But I was going to say that the people who are worried about putting things in their body are probably also going to be pretty helpful. They have no idea what they're putting in their body.
I do eat a lot of fruit and water and no pork. I try to eat healthy a lot of times.
I've never had a flu shot.
Are you eating organic? Are you eating fruit, like organic, or what are you eating?
I won't go that far. But I don't get sick because of what I eat. But to me, you was about to say what again?
Yeah, but you don't know if you don't know how much in terms of glycophosphates that you're consuming. So I'm just making.
No, I know
point.
you. I hear you, 100%.
Well, can I ask a follow-up question? Who here thinks that getting a measles vaccine this shot this year is important?
Most of these are good questions. These are good questions, Congressman John. Maybe Mojo wants to do a poll later and some of those questions.
It's a good question because measles resurfaced in America. I had measles when I was young, so I'm not getting any shot.
I only got one shot that I was in control of. I mean, that was not in control of. And that was the one with the chicken pox growing up.
You don't get measles boosters throughout life, so you're
Right.
Okay, I got another follow-up question on another exciting vaccine option for you. Who here thinks that getting a Hep C vaccine injection this year might be a great idea?
No, that's something different.
I'm not hep to it.
Yeah, but John, you know, the issue is, you know, you're bringing up all these things, and would you balance it? You have to give them an option. What's the option to not do the things? I don't take any of these vaccines, and you know. So what's the kind of options that you're getting?
Well, I think Dr. Jordan's belches there might be indicative that I'm
Oh, sorry.
wondering here if anybody is interested in getting the government to pay for your Ozempic injections this year.
Well, here's the interesting thing, right? Like, it's an illusion vaccination, by the way.
When we talk about these pathogens, I mean, people make it sound like, you know, parasites, bacteria, viruses are all like closely related things. The diversity among the pathogens are far greater than vertebrate species, right? So like the notion of the notion of immunizing people against these pathogens depends on the platform, the type of pathogen. It's so complicated. It's like comparing. It's the difference between comparing like cars and boats to a Mercedes and a BMW. I mean, the degree of diversity is so rich that combating it with these vaccines, you can't compare one vaccine to the next. Is what I'm trying to get at. I need to focus on driving here. Roger knows that.
Well, that's a really good point. But I'll just say this: I took the shingles shot. If you anybody ever seen anybody with shingles, you're gonna take this fucking shot. Let me tell you, that is wicked.
I'm gonna tell you this. Ever since I've been in LA, I've not took too many shots. I turned to one of you guys drinking fresh juice and acai bowls and shit like that, and working out 5 days out the week. So it's like I don't want to do shots no more.
Yeah, but again, you could be the most physically fit person in the world. It's like suggesting that you're the most physically fit person in the world, but you carry it and you are a carrier of a chronic disease gene, right? And no matter how healthy you are, you may express that, you may end up getting that disease, right? Because you carry it. So that look at an infectious disease in the same way.
I get you.
It's interesting when doctors tell people with things like stage cancer that they only have 6 months to live. They die pretty quickly. And when they fight that, they don't die if they go about it. They have to find other ways to heal themselves. But it's just interesting the power that a doctor has.
Oh, psychology. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not just belief, it's facts. The power of people. You know, I'm into meditation. There's proof on doing certain meditations on how it keeps the immune system high. So there's that.
But each immune system is within its limitations. You know, you have certain genes for that. Would you agree with that?
I'm not a scientist. I know some scientists that would be able to answer that fully. I'd highly recommend some of you guys that are interested in health this way to read Dr. Joe Dispenza's book called You Are the Placebo.
I'm gonna definitely look into it. I can tell you this, ever since I came back to Houston, I'm always on the urge of eating chicken wings and strip club. I'm almost going backwards. Let me go back forward.
Chicken wings in a strip club, that sounds like a good time. like Mojo looks like he's with that outfit he's wearing. He need a lot of napkins, chicken wings, and a strip club. The vaccine was absolutely safe, effective, and in compliance with all the safety and efficacy standards. All this sinister propaganda that the vaccine was not safe or effective, it's completely baseless and has no.
Was it necessary? Was it necessary?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Nas.
I have some dead friends that disagree with you. I gotta speak for them.
Well,
Nas, maybe.
Listen, there is no safe drug ever. Water
Just say no
every
safe.
day has a high safety.
You need to say safe.
Yes, it is. You have in medicine, we have the criteria to determine what is safe and what is not. Safety is not 100%. There is no 100% safety for anything. There is no 100% safety for the water you drink. The water you drink can kill you.
It's a question. A quick question.
Go ahead.
If I took the shit, I took one shot, and I got COVID soon afterwards. You know, a few weeks afterwards.
There's nothing wrong with that. You have to understand the purpose of the vaccine. The purpose of the vaccine is not to prevent people from getting infected. Okay. The purpose is three things. Number one, to reduce the rate of infection. Number two, to make you,
Which it did do, which is no proof that it reduced the rate of infection.
yes, it did. Look at the entire background. I'm a scientist by training, and that's an area of specialty. So, yes, it did.
This is your area of specialty? Okay, let me ask you a question now. What are the top 3 vaccines in the big pharma marketplace?
What do you mean, the top
In
vaccine?
terms of revenue.
For COVID or in general?
In general.
Now, that's a correct question. Of course, Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca produce the largest vaccines for COVID. Messenger RNA is used for so many different things. It's long before COVID. Originally, it was used actually to help us understand how the protein mutate, and then we can understand it more accurately for cancer treatment. That was the main purpose. If we don't have these techniques and you try to build a vaccine today, it would take you a minimum of 2 to 3 years, and it would be at best able to vaccinate less than 5% of the US population. Messenger RNA technology is beyond belief. It's far advanced and far more efficient. Is it perfect? No, there is no such thing as perfect medicine. There is nothing perfect in life.
Mass, how many COVID shots have you taken?
I've taken 6. And by the way,
Wow.
yes, I took all of them and I've never gotten it.
And you're never, are you at the healthiest point of your life? Like, how healthy do you feel
I
from
am
taking all the
perfectly
vaccines?
healthy.
Wow, that's amazing
You
news.
just said it doesn't affect whether you get it or not.
I did not say that.
That last statement's meaningless. You never got it.
What do you mean?
You
I
said,
did not say that.
you said the shot.
I did not say such a thing. What I am trying to
From
do
Timac, am I crazy, Timac?
it reduces the rate of infection and it helps you to resist more. It's not 100% guaranteed. Again, this is a notion. It's false notion. There is nothing on earth 100% guaranteed.
We
There
get
is
it
no
now. Please
guarantee.
stop repeating yourself. We've heard it. All right, I've asked Scrock the following question. What are the top 10 vaccines in the big pharma marketplace, and how much do they
I
generate
already
a year?
answered.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you what I asked Scrock. It says,
Okay,
based
go
on
ahead.
2024 data from company reports and the World Health Organization, number 1, Gardasil by Merck for HPV. It generates $8.6 billion a year for HPV. Prevnar by Pfizer generates $6.4 billion a year for PCV. Comirnaty, which is by Pfizer, treats COVID, which does $5.4 billion a year. Next, we have at number 4, Shingrix, which is GlaxoSmithKline, which treats shingles at $4.3 billion a year. Number 5, Spikevax by Moderna for COVID, $3 billion a year. Number 6, DTaP combos, Sanofi, $3 billion a year. Number 7, influenza vaccines by Sanofi generates $2.8 billion a year. Number 8, ProQuad MMR Veravax by Merck, $2.5 billion. Number 9, Beyfortus Sanofi RSV at $1.8 billion. We're almost there. Number 10, Meningitis Group Sanofi, $1.4 billion. These top 10 vaccines generate annually $70 billion a year in marketplace revenue.
Spinal surgeries especially, and most surgeons will not have their own family members get spinal surgery. How much money do they make, John?
Thanks for saying that, because I just had spinal surgery. Right.
Well, listen, I'm just praying for everybody's health, wealth, and love here. I'm merely trying to draw attention to reckless spending and maybe bad outcomes for vaccines. And people like Nas who make all or nothing statements like the COVID-19 vaccine is 100% safe and effective. Never trust anybody who makes all or nothing statements. That's what a Sith Lord does. And don't forget, this is an ESL training platform.
Or never trust anyone who talks over people just to drown them out.
Well, go ahead, Moose. Do you think the COVID-19 vaccines are 100% safe and effective?
Not informed enough to speak on it, but I did get them, so I've had it, man. Yeah, right. I've had it. I'm one of the dopes, I'm one of the sheep, I'm one of the pandemic.
Did you get COVID?
I did.
How many vaccines did you take?
Not too many. I'm not crazy. I'm only to 27.
Yeah, alright. That should, your left leg's gonna fall off by tomorrow. That's okay.
Alright, well, hey, I've been working on a dance technique that involves a lot of hopping. Perfect.
And don't forget, if you don't get vaxxed this coming Thanksgiving, you could kill your grandparents if you don't get vaxxed. So be sure everybody gets vaxxed again.
And the turkey, too.
You know my favorite part about the vaccine was when we went to restaurants where we had to put the mask on, but then we sat down and we could take the mask off, and then when you leave, you have to put the mask back on. It was the most intelligent virus I've ever seen. And it's just amazing how it knows if you're walking in or out of the restaurant or if you're sitting down. That was probably my favorite part.
Yeah, it was virus with the brain. You're right. I wish that scientists would come back. I wanted to ask them about the masks, how effective the masks were. If he still thinks they are effective or were effective. I mean, we would do, everybody knows we would do. Like I said to Congressman before, these pharmaceutical companies got away with murder. They created their tax laws for them. They were paying like next to nothing, and it still wasn't good enough. They wanted to pay nothing. It was ridiculous. And for Fauci to be the highest paid government employer in the country, what can I say? Get his ass for perjury.
Just follow the money, follow the money.
Yeah, well, that was my job. That was my job, you're right. Follow the money. Go as
You know what I miss? I miss the 6 feet apart. I actually genuinely miss that.
I missed that too. I mentioned before you were on, I was on a line, I was like 4 feet away from somebody with my mask on, eating stages. And I got yelled at by a security guard, for not being 6 feet. So I took a step back, and everybody had to take a step back, so when I took a step back, it was like really, it was like being in 3rd grade again.
What I don't understand is if this was a conspiracy of some sort, why didn't they do an actual back-end tracking, or did they? Because passing out a 3x5 card with your vaccination name and dates to me, I mean, I faked my card. My friend printed me something up from a PDF he had, and that's what I used to go into the bars and the sporting events, wherever they were, wherever the Nazi Gestapo employees said, "Show me your papers." I just showed him my fake little paper. So that's what I can't understand. Why didn't they do a real vaccine lockdown?
Well, you said it was a conspiracy. I think it was more of ignorance. Like, government sometimes feels, Congressman, you can agree with this, government sometimes feels like they have to do something. It might be wrong, it might be not scientifically based, it might be just to shut people up, but they feel they have to do something. All right, now, everybody, nobody's going to school anymore until we clear it. Nobody's gonna stand, no touching, no shaking hands, no, I wrote a funny bit, I think it was funny on Facebook, dating for COVID patients. I got a good reviews on that. One person had it, one person didn't have it. They both tested negative. It was just a whole combination of things. Dating on the computer first. It was ridiculous, as was the disease. Nobody knew anything. That's what I think. I don't think it was a conspiracy. I think nobody knew anything.
Well, what about the mass communication effort on behalf of mainstream media, who are all sponsored by Pfizer, that encouraged everyone to get vaccinated by herd psychology? You don't think that we were all manipulated into getting vaccinated through mass communication spam tools?
Yes, I do. You're right. But I think it's for lack of knowledge. There was no knowledge to back that up. So, and then, the media.
So here's the question for you, John, because you can't simultaneously hold two positions that the government is completely incompetent and they're capable of this level of conspiracy. It's one or the other. So do you think that they're highly sophisticated and this is a conspiracy, or do you think that they are incompetent like I do?
No, I think they're incompetent, but I put some things in the chat earlier from A.G. Huff on what he was replying to with people's comments. I just think, follow the money. And if you can see where all the Congress people are voting for HEROES Act and the CARES Act, these are multi-trillion-dollar omnibus bills passed in the middle of the night that funded Operation Warp Speed and exploded profits amongst hospital chains, creating a catastrophic chain of events where the medical industrial complex started billing everything to COVID. If you died, from a car accident, it was COVID. You were labeled a COVID victim. So there was just a lot of fraud going on. And every time the government prints up trillions of dollars through omnibus bills, it creates a double jeopardy of fraud. The PPP loans, $1 trillion there, $800 billion in fraud loans. A lot of the clubhouse gangbangers on this app should be in jail for PPP loan fraud, but they've never been arrested because it was rampant. There's not enough enforcement to go after the low-hanging fruit.
You were right. I had a friend who died of a heart attack, and he listed it on the charters of COVID. He had COVID, had a heart attack, so of course it was COVID. Hey Marshall, how you doing, Marshall?
Hey, what you said about the whole fraud and stuff like that? They actually are going after everybody that did it. They actually remove what's the thing called when a crime is too far out, they can't charge you for it. I can't think of the name right now. But
No, he's not thinking of immunity. You're thinking of statute of limitations.
yeah, they removed that for the PPP. And yeah, so whatever happened to PPP fraud and stuff like that, more likely you are going to get in trouble for it.
Marshall, you came in the room. How many COVID shots did you take, and how many times did you get COVID?
I was told by my doctor to take it twice, and then the third one he told me not to take, and I've had COVID one time.
Do you feel that it protected you from getting sicker from the COVID-19 virus from Wuhan?
I feel like I'm not a doctor enough qualified to make that, which is why I asked my doctor. I didn't go to fucking medical school.
So
You can't answer a simple question like whether or not you feel that it protected
no,
you.
it has nothing to do with that. I don't substitute my own view of what it is, what medical.
So you rely on a doctor's opinion and not your own opinion about how you feel.
I rely on having my issues with my doctor settled my way. And that's how I want to settle. You don't have the right to tell me I can't settle in that way.
Do you think it's okay for the government to give Pfizer immunity to protect and give them vaccines?
I have the right to either listen to my doctor or not listen to my doctor. And guess what I chose? Listen to my fucking doctor. So I had autoimmune disease and I was could have gotten sick easily. You don't have to fucking like that, but your idea that I would trust medical expertise that you would laugh at is stupid. It would be like you getting told you had stage 4 cancer and laughing at the doctor because you thought they made money off of the fucking diagnosis and cure. Right? Like, it's not like you have a right to do things your way, I have a right to do things my way, and that's the way I do it.
I agree. I'm just asking some sensitive questions. I know they're sensitive questions, but we have to ask the hard questions.
You want me to substitute what I think about a medical procedure for somebody who fucking went to medical school and has been my doctor for a decade? I'm obviously not going to choose myself because I don't have that kind of medical expertise. It's not that fucking hard.
Marshall, I agree with what you said. The only thing is, and I take your point of view, I didn't think the medical field knew enough about COVID at the time. So I certainly respect your opinion, and I asked doctors too, and something they weren't sure. You know?
Well, again, I didn't want to be forced on anybody else, but the fact that I told them that my doctor, that's what they for me, is not going to be clear that.
No.
How's your
And even when he told you what to do, it was still your decision, right?
Yep.
So you know what?
How's the doctor's health? Very good. Just had a kid. Oh no, he just had a second kid.
That's a good thing. Well, there's a lot of doctors that give recommendations that their health sucks.
No, he is very healthy.
Is it because, you know, a doctor with poor health can give recommendations, right? I mean, where are you going on that?
What did you say, Joseph? I mean,
I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying a lot of doctors have poor health, but they give recommendations. And a lot of doctors really suck to begin with, so it's another story.
Well, but they went to medical school, Jules. Of course they're ethical, honest, and moral people. They went to medical school.
I know. Say, I owe me $500. You got your tongue saying, I owe me $500. I know.
Marshall.
They're a doctor.
Well, they make $40 billion, roughly $40 billion, and as far as spinal surgery, $40 billion in the whole world. Next year it will be going up to $75 billion. 75 around the world.
And they think, I know doctors, a lot of them think they're holy and shit, you know? It's hard to find. I mean, you can find a good, competent doctor, but a down-to-earth doctor, you know, I don't know. And I'm in New York, where I think the best of them, but some I like, some I don't. It's like everything else. Some you like, some you don't like.
Well, the vaccine payout sheets are out there. Well, Pfizer, Moderna, J&J would pay health practitioners based on the number of people they got vaccinated and what their bonuses were. It's all in the paperwork.
All right, it's not about vaccine. Listen, I think it's important though to first learn about health for yourself. You know, I think we put too much on looking to other people than doctors on being responsible for your health. You know, I think you should.
With Tamac, the vaccines were 100% safe and effective, and they protected you from getting the virus.
You're gonna make a lot of this one.
I'm just asking a difficult question based on the title of the room.
Don't get obnoxious, man. Hey, man.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, Tamac, what you're saying is right, but you have certain.
But Tamac doesn't want to talk about the vaccines anymore.
Well, let me talk to Tamac.
No,
T-Mac, that's like me telling you, learn your own taxes before you come in and ask you file a tax return.
No, it's not a good analogy at all. That's not, I think it's really not a good analogy. You can tell with your own body if you're not willing to pay attention. Taxes don't.
Well, there's certain things, I'm not a doctor. I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is right. You know what you're saying? And you're right. You have to understand your body to give that knowledge to the doctor, and he takes the ball. And
Do you realize? Do you realize nurses are?
Let T-Mac talk. I'm asking T-Mac a question.
Yeah, so that's again.
I said, I think you're saying you have to understand your body as much as you could, because it's your body, and give that knowledge to the doctor who has medical knowledge to be able to carry the ball.
The doctor, if you trust that doctor,
Yes.
I think you should first, get to know yourself and your body, not just your body. Get to know yourself.
Well, what about the doctors? Do they get to know their patients? When you're in a hospice dying, and a doctor comes up to you and says, have you got your annual flu and COVID-19 vaccine? And you're dying in a hospice. Does that make sense for a doctor to ask you if you need a vaccine while you're dying in hospice? Because that's what they do. You've never had enough.
I think we got the message out.
Yeah. I think you're pretty pissed off with we're all pissed off with segments of society. You have a gripe about everyone.
Well, everything is tied to the annual budget, is it not?
Hope you're not a Yankees fan, because we could scream and kick them down the road too. But you can bitch about everything. You're right. The budget is what goes up.
I think the Astros beat them with
Well, I'm trying to get justice for people like Ann.
I think John Brick, because he's trying to get information that people like not really have. So maybe that.
Well, Ann asked earlier about justice for COVID-19 vaccine victims. I'm just merely trying to get Ann a little social audio equity justice.
That's the only kind of justice you can get, unfortunately.
See, instead of being shouted down, I should be applauded for asking the difficult questions that guys like Marshall Rankin get very emotionally upset about.
Well, when you personalize it, I like you. I'm on your side in a lot of cases, a lot of things we spoke. But, when you personalize it, people get pissed off. I disagree with Marshall on so many issues. But when we personalize it, it doesn't work out well.
Well, he says he has an autoimmune deficiency system, as William Wallace in the chat pointed out. If you have an autoimmune deficiency system, you are one of the groups of people who should not have gotten the vaccine. So I don't understand where he comes from on anything.
Well, his doctor told him because you have an autoimmune deficiency problem, you should take the vaccination.
No, that's the exact opposite of what they were saying.
Well, we know that now.
No, not now. Then. Marshall, in my opinion, is a nincompoop. And everybody loves to say he's the greatest, but I think he's a schmuck.
I disagree with Marshall on issues. I'm not going to call him a nincompoop. I'm not going to call him a schmuck unless he was on stage here. No. But, he has his own viewpoint. And look, this was a time of unknown when COVID hit. I'll give you an example of my situation. You'll tell me I'm crazy. I don't believe in the vaccination, okay? Right from the beginning, I was skeptical. I would say maybe the last plane back from Tel Aviv where there was no COVID. I landed, and my son and his family were coming back from LA the next day. My son got sick on the plane. Everybody was getting sick, and within 2 days, COVID broke out. Now, I got a number of grandchildren that I want to see. And I didn't want to take the vaccination. I held off. I didn't have COVID. I held off. His whole family, my son's whole family, got COVID to a certain degree. Mostly mild because they're kids. My son got it really bad. There's going to be questions about it. Look up this, look up that. So nobody knew what the hell was going on. When it came time, 7 months later, I wanted to see my grandkids. And he was afraid. He didn't know. He's the scientific guy in the first place. He has a material science engineering degree. But he's smart. He just wanted to know. He was afraid for me and my wife to see our grandchildren. What's wrong with that? And this is the beginning stages. Nobody knew anything. He didn't go to a hospital. Everybody was quarantined anyhow. But when things started easing off, I took one of the shots, vaccine shots. I wanted to see my grandchildren. Now, you could criticize me for that. That's the only shot I took, and that was the only reason I took the shot. So if you want to criticize me for that...
Well, you're describing the psychology of why people decided to take an experimental, mass-marketed needle injection.
That's right. That's right.
But it had no positive health outcomes. It doesn't stop infection. It doesn't stop transmission. It only makes you sick.
If I knew that then, I wouldn't have taken it. But the idea was, I didn't want to get sick. I didn't trust the vaccination. I thought a layer of protection. You know how it went. I was one of the skeptical ones. But
So you were willing to sacrifice your personal liberty for a little bit of health security.
I wanted to see my grandchildren who I'm living for. No other reason I'm living for.
I'm not trying to dig into you. I'm merely trying to bring out the truths which people easily forget about the mass COVID-19 vaccine response.
Nobody knew the truth at the beginning. If you remember, we were all quarantined. I mean, come on. Nobody could go down and get the mail without seeing another person in the elevator. It was wild.
Well, nobody knew the truth, but people were suspicious. Why is everybody going to rush out and get the same injection?
I was too. I didn't find out later that it all through DNA and, it had really fucked up things about it. And I think Fauci should be tried, convicted of, and I'd like a first row seat with some popcorn if that ever happened. But, that bothered me too. To be, now, the rest of our lives, everybody's gone from here, but Mojo's still here, Pockets, Serendipity, all you guys are still here. We're going to live the rest of our lives. We're not going to trust the government on any health issues in the future. And there's a lot of health issues that can pop up here and there. And why should we trust? We saw what happened. It was unbelievable how if you remember, people from China were flying in, and Nancy Pelosi was going to festivals in San Francisco and New York, Chinatown festivals, showing that there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and Trump was labeled a racist for preventing the Chinese from coming in. It was the first accusation. He's a racist.
That's right. He's a racist because the unknown Chinese flu that came from China, he was trying to prevent people from getting... Whatever Trump does, Trump derangement syndrome takes over. And the opposite is what they think. If Trump said there's no God, they would be demanding everybody worship tomorrow. Worship a God tomorrow. It's just, we live in the same world. And, Marshall looks up to his doctor for medical decisions. We all look up to people for certain decisions in life. I mentioned tax, stuff you have to do, real estate, buying a car. And you can't trust anybody anymore. We live in a day and age. I got maybe 14 phony phone calls today about selling property, about I wanted money. And that's on the phone. That's not on Facebook, which I get 100 of those a day. Chinese women who want to meet me, all over the world. We're in a world. I just pity the kids. They're not going to grow up like I grew up, watching Mickey Mantle play baseball, going to Yankee Stadium when I was 12 years old on the train from Brooklyn to the Bronx with no problems. No train service.
Jules, if everything is a scam, then you should take everything, with a grain of salt. And let's go back to the poll. 48% out of 25 votes believed that the vaccine was worse. 28% believed the disease was worse, and 24% of people, which is about a quarter, are still unsure. What was worse, getting the vaccine or getting the disease?
Give me those numbers again, because I didn't look at it.
48% of respondents out of 25 votes believed that the vaccine was worse than the disease itself, and that 28% believed that getting the COVID-19 virus was worse than getting the vaccine. And 25% are still unsure of whether or not it was worse to get the vaccine or the disease.
Wow. That says a lot right there. That says a lot. And who the hell's going to take a vaccine that, it won't make you better, you still can get it. It's going to fuck up your DNA. It's just so stupid. And I wonder what the question would have been. If the question would have been for children, that's what bothered me too. They knew that children had very little risk of having any damage, whether if they got COVID, a little cold, whatever. And they still demanded children get the vaccine. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to understand what that meant. Every time I talk on Clubhouse, my nose gets stuffy. Is there a vaccine I can take for this? Pockets, you just listening or you there? Come on, Pocket, say something.
I'm listening.
Okay. So I'm talking to Congressman, nobody else is butting in. Say something.
Well, I think, this whole, healthcare shipment is fucking scam, dude. Like, I work in Medicare, I help seniors find doctors, and, I help navigate their insurance. Dude, it's just, it's fucking, it's a scam. Like, it's all a scam, I don't believe in, the vaccinations we're given the second we're born. The second we come out the womb, they're jabbing us with, I don't even know to this day what I was jabbed with, the second I was born. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like we're just getting things from the start. And, you can either change your life now or, stick in that path, but I don't know.
Right. We were jabbed as soon as we were born. But I think, I don't know, I think the jabs then were more, how can I say, more viable, or, now the trust of getting jabbed now is so much, is such a problem. Maybe you're right. Maybe they were just experimenting with us back then. Who knows? You're in a tough, you work in healthcare, the healthcare business, it must be very suspicious about everything. Go ahead, you want to say something?
I work in the numbers game of healthcare, which is so fucked up. There's a sales part of healthcare, which is so weird. Like literally go out and market And it's just, you know, I don't know, to me there's like a whole other side of healthcare, the marketing business side, the real money making side, you know, it's sick. It's just sick.
Yeah, but that's, are they trying to, I'm a tax guy, you know that. So are they trying to avoid paying taxes too?
Okay.
Oh no, a lot of like places were doing kickbacks to like insurance agents, right? So they were going to insurance agents and there were doctors that were illegally, you know, docking procedures that never happened, shit like that. There's a lot of shit that's out there that's just so, you know,
It's a
there's
wonderful
not much
way.
to do.
Nico, just a second, Nick. I mean, I brought my car in today. You know, it's, if you pay cash, it's this. If you don't pay cash, it's that. You know what that means. You don't want to pay taxes. Nobody wants to pay taxes. You know, remember Crazy Eddie? His brother who opened the store. I don't know if you remember Crazy Eddie. They had the biggest record store on Block Row in the city. And him and his brother, and they had that ad, you can't believe our prices, they're crazy, the prices are so low, can't be beat. You know why they were so low? I just found out in time, because they didn't pay their taxes. They were able to undercut, you know, other businesses. So that's like our national pastime, is don't pay your taxes. So when people talk about not having the IRS, you know, I think the IRS serves a purpose. At least makes you pay some of your taxes, or you know, we catch some of that. I know it's not you know, a thing that you want to say, but
Jules, do you know what the effective tax rate before the invention of the IRS was?
It was zero, wasn't it?
Zero. So, problem, cause, solution. We are our own problem. We've created a taxation system that only funds 5 out of 7 trillion a year in spending. We are taxing ourselves too much already as is, and we are spending way more than we can sustain.
Hold up, yo, wait, hold on. I need to mod somebody, I want to do this, but I wanted that. So, it's not mod, that's all distracted.
Ma Jules is a former federal officer of the Treasury Department.
Yeah,
I can't tell sarcasm.
Just where this conversation is rapidly coming to a close anyways, but
Yeah.
you know, I asked Grog how much was dispersed in the PPP loan program. It's close to 100 or close to $1 trillion, and they estimate 64 billion of that is fraud, and they've only recouped about 3 billion.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So $60 billion got skimmed by the government because they decided to create a new loan package. 60 billion. Boop, bye.
Yeah, well, you know.
so
I mean, you know, not paying your taxes is one thing. You know, I told you I was an international examiner in financial service. I caught huge sums of money in the biggest financial service area, and it was not illegal. They were just arming with the and disciplining the militia. Corporations. I can't go into it. I could. And it wasn't right. They had to pay a lot back. You know. But they made the law. They got to explain that when people talk. That probably was something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask John, so you're running as a candidate for Congress. I mean, I think it's interesting to know. Like, one of the things that's key is like the thing I don't understand about MAGA. Like, you know, I mean, I'm not talking, it's not racist or not, I mean, but in general.
Negro, your problem is framing people as MAGA is some kind of all or nothing position statement. I wear this red hat mostly because I want people to get upset just by me wearing it. I'm not some MAGA. I'm a Republican American who believes in fiscal prudence and not borrowing and spending. That doesn't make me MAGA. Finish your question.
Yeah, so my thing that I know that they all share in common is the fact that they think that, Trump, a billionaire, a guy who thinks his life is worth, he got $1 million loan from his father, that he understands what they're going through in life. And his largest donors were people like Elon Musk, who has more wealth than, maybe, like definitely well beyond $1 billion lifetimes. But that's really the thing about MAGA to me, and it's been difficult for me to relate to, is how they trust a guy, like how they can ever trust a billionaire to have their best interests.
So hold it. So you were saying we should never vote for a guy like Madani, whose parents have a compound in Uganda, over here for Uganda, have millions and millions of dollars. That you won't object to, right? That's okay.
When did Madani come into discussion?
You're talking about
Wait, Jules.
Trump.
Jules, let's ask young Necro here a very simple question that solves what you're asking. Necro, how do we lower the annual deficit and how do we lower the national debt?
Yes, that's the ultimate question.
Well, I'm not the person. I think this is something.
Well, if you either raise revenue or you cut spending. Which one's it gonna be?
So, well, I think the Republic Party, Donald Trump has the solution to lowering the debt. So I don't think this is an issue that is, that you can frame it as one side is guilty of all of them. In fact, the Democrats.
Tell me what Biden's solution was.
The Democrats at least don't lie about the fact that they voted that they would do that.
They don't lie.
They don't lie. They don't lie.
About lowering the debt, yes.
They don't talk about lowering the debt, Necro. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Matter of fact,
the Republicans
yes,
lie.
they do. Yes, they do. They talk about raising the debt. By the way, I think it's a bipartisan. I think it's a bipartisan fuck. Okay, I agree with part of what you're saying, but the Democrats, they spend money like there's no tomorrow. You see that list of shit that Doge bought, that they're spending money for Ugandan transsexual classes. It's just so ridiculous. But Congressman, I agree with you. It's taxes won't do anything. I believe lowering the taxes, lowering the debt, and you're right.
I believe that lowering income taxes are not going to be less than $3 billion. I think that these people deserve a break. I think that, I'm not in favor of, in general, I'm not in favor of income taxes, mostly because it affects people who are working in the greatest situation. The rich people in the country, meanwhile, most of their taxes are going to stock, which tend to be much lower.
Necro.
The rich pay most of the taxes. Rich pay almost all the taxes in this country.
Necro, let me ask you a question.
And they still
Necro, let me ask you a question.
They steal from the poor. They steal from the poor. You gotta lose that mentality.
Necro.
They don't steal
for it. Yeah, they would steal from the poor. They would take.
You can't steal from the poor. Have nothing. How do you steal from the poor?
They would take Social Security. They would take Medicare.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Necro, let me ask you a question, Necro. What's more important, raising the taxes on the rich or cutting the spending?
I think that, cutting useless spending, but on spending that's, efficient, I think that it's good. But yeah, getting rid of wasteful spending like all the others wars, I think that's better.
Hey, Necro, the poor pay no taxes. If almost half the households in this country pay no taxes, income taxes. You know that.
Well, then, you know what we should do is get rid of the burdensome compliance for the bottom 50% who don't pay anything anyways, but yet they still gotta pay $150 to file annually, even though they get a, guess what happens though, Jules? They get a tax rebate!
They get a rebate, yes.
Healthcare companies, which makes profit off of people dying.
So actually, the IRS for the bottom 50% is actually just an annual stimulus check.
That's right, exactly. Necro, do you believe in capitalism?
I mean, do I sound like a socialist to you?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing I never understand is that to me is the idea that some of these that you are against, people, selecting you to make more money, having so much power that means that you hate, you hate having a system of wealth, essentially. I mean, because believe it or not, my views are actually that of Thomas Jefferson, which, is particularly hated corporatism, said that, which is essentially what I am, basically, is that...
What would Thomas Jefferson say then, today, right now, if he witnessed what was happening with a $2 trillion annual deficit and a $37 trillion national debt?
He would blame a lot of it on the corporations, I mean, because they were the ones who, and the reason why we invaded Iraq, that was all about, oil, was why we invaded Iraq. So, I mean, that's why I asked in the chat that socialism caused the wars, because the invasion of Iraq, you can't really blame socialism for that.
I blame socialism for being a sucky economic society. I'm a capitalist.
Okay.
I think this country is a capitalist country. We've done so much positive for the world, and we will continue to do so much positive to the world. But what stops it is other countries that have socialist governments that have no freedom. They have, you go to medical school, where are you going to go? There's medical school in Israel, medical school in the United States. There's very few communist, socialist medical schools.
Run by candidate Congressman.
Freedom to what you have to do.
Congressman of the 16th.
Negro, where do you live, Negro? What country?
Republicans turned it away. Biden's functions wanted it wrong as well.
No, you sound like you're an American.
Okay, that's fair. Because, which person from another country would be voting Thomas Jefferson to you?
No, you sound like an American. So you tell me what country, what form of government do you think is more fair to more people? More people in America make a fortune. So more fair to more people. Tell me a country you think economically is more fair to more people.
Than the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of countries that have better social safety nets than the United States. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into that. You have, such as immigration. They have more stricter immigration, which is something I think should be done.
No. I said economically. Economically, you like socialism, yet you're in the United States. What socialist country provides more and better equality, opportunity to their people than America? What country? Pick a country. Pick a commie country.
Yeah, so for example, Norway, they have a system in which, even prisoners, convicted criminals, have a better shot at life when they get out of prison.
So, I asked you to pick a country in the world, and the first country, the only country you picked, was a country that gives its prisoners certain rights.
Yeah, you have people who are the lowest in society, they get a better opportunity when they go to prison.
Oh my God. That's the best you could do.
Wait, Jules, before you go any further, I want to alert you to the fact that Necro is a racist and he believes that Israel is an apartheid genocidal country.
what's his belief?
Alright, that one's for you, Reg.
I'm against that, of course. You know that.
FYI, Necro, I had people texting me into the show to tell you that.
Okay. And they probably very likely think that, in space, they probably think that, settlements rock. I mean,
You don't think settlement developments are a positive thing for people? I mean, living in modern day housing with security? That doesn't sound like a good thing to you.
For people who are inhabitants.
No, not Jews, not Jews. So, and only Arab
And
countries.
I like Jew essentially to speak out against war crimes, and that makes you anti-Semite.
Don't speak out against war crimes. We're not much to
I mean, it's something that I would like to see, like Netanyahu do, but he's, of course,
Negro,
You knew exactly what to ask.
Under a hospital, a war crime. Is storing weapons under a mosque a war crime? Is using human kids as shields a war crime?
yeah.
I have a question. Can we get back to the interrogation of what country would be best? Well, which country did you say you would prefer, Ekram?
He said Norway.
Yeah,
Norway.
Which one is better?
I gotta take a photo and not just detail. It's so ridiculous.
I have a question for you. What do you think the average income is in Norway in comparison to the United States?
I don't know.
Average income. It's the average income is 60,300 in Norway. Average income in the United States is 77,500. So more than $17,000 more. And then when you adjust for taxation, any idea of the purchasing power that you have after taxes?
I have to look into that.
Yeah. So my question is like, how are you when you're saying that something is better than another country? What are you basing it on?
Yeah. So specifically, the question was which one is better for most people, and I think that it's clear, and that's why I gave the example is that prisoners in Norway have better opportunity, convicted murderers, people who, like everybody thinks, shouldn't have any chance of opportunity,
But why would your standard of measuring the success or the judiciousness of a country be based on the way that murderers fare?
Because they're this people who want the Muslim society.
They're the people that kill people.
Yeah, so I mean, they're the people you expect to get the worst, and they seem to get a very good opportunity for a right.
Nicker, I don't think you know what you're talking about.
Well, he supports Hamas. So.
Yeah.
Hold on. So let's talk about Norway. They have a minimum income guarantee, right? So you probably like that.
I mean, that's not appealing, but I haven't looked into it. I mean, like I said, I put up earlier that there are a lot of dynamics of Norway that we don't have in the United States. Like, for example, having district immigration, policy, which is something I think in America should have district immigration policy.
Why do you think Norway, despite the fact that they don't have like high income earners, on average, they earn less than us. Why do you think they're able to afford things like free healthcare, education, childcare? That many of the people either own property or they receive housing assistance from the government. Why do you think that is? Like, what do you think is a factor that allows for a country like Norway to be able to budget accordingly to be able to make those decisions? What do you think is the leading reason why they can do that?
Yeah, so they do have better education. I think it's better in general overall. They
You really want to get him, huh, Rich?
Okay, but you realize why they can afford these things, right? You're not answering that. Why can they afford those things?
Well,
Come on.
I honestly don't know what you're trying to get at.
Well, it's an obvious thing because a lot of these countries that have these socialist economic systems that are providing things that you think are really bitchin' to have, they only can have those things because they don't spend money on their own military. In fact, they live under the security umbrella of NATO, more specifically the security umbrella of the United States. So if you're going to have a grievance about anything, the reason why they have those things is because U.S. taxpayers pay for the security assurances, so Norway can spend their money on those things.
Yeah, that's it's also a fair point. It's one of the things I think Trump is right about these nations, essentially, them, the United States being much more into their military than other countries, basically, that it's not like fair that they can expect us to do it. To do everything.
District 16.
So, again, now that you break that down, like imagine if we were to just say, hey, no more security assurance, you gotta fund your own military. Some of those services would disappear. Would you still want to be in Norway?
I mean, like I said, I wasn't saying that I didn't say specifically that I would be in Norway as about a specific issue in Norway, but I mean, overall, I'm not certain right now whether I would move to Norway looking right now.
Norway would be part of Russia then, that you would like that, right?
No, it would be something I would like. So,
Jules, there's a very Necro, hold on, Jules, there's a very easy way to settle the matter with Necro. You just ask him, Necro, if you were king of the world, what would you do? What would your priorities be for your people?
Education, ending crime.
How would you do that?
Well, I mean, am I a politician now?
Well, yeah, you're the king of the world. How do you end crime? What would you do to criminals?
I mean, I would impose harsh sentences on hard crime. I would,
But then treat them nice in prisons, right? That's what you said.
I mean, I would disconnect them from, if they're injured society, I would keep them restrained, to keep them from being able to hurt other people, if that means.
You know, in New York, recently, last week, some guy stabbed a few people to death, and he had 47 arrests. Not all were violent crimes, some were just turnstiles, but there were plenty of violent crimes within the 47 arrests. Do you think that person should be allowed on the streets?
Sorry, what did he do?
He stabbed 2 people to death, and he had 47 previous arrests, some violent crimes. Should that person be on the streets?
No, I don't think so. I mean, now looking at the case, you can make a judgment about the mental health, but I just like your I don't think they should allow.
Well, you're right. You're right. He had mental health issues, probably drug addiction too. But Necro, I'll vote for you for mayor of New York with your communist beliefs if you have strict prison sentences for all these people. I mean, we have so much crowd running around.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I would agree is like in states like California, they've capped at the amount of time you have to remain on the sex offender registry. I think that's wrong. I think that if you rape a child, you should always have to look at that.
I knew Epstein would have to get pictures there.
Well, that's the thing, like, to me, is like, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Trump is hitting all of his, based on this issue, because they base their entire, I mean, it baffles me that they would choose Trump when they talk about all these things with Epstein, but when Trump is probably one of the most associated people with Epstein, the only other person I can put who has a higher profile would be Bill Clinton. Well, I just said the only person who I can think of would be Bill Clinton.
But he's not even a close second. He had a fight with Epstein a long time ago.
Okay.
And you and all the Trump during considered people screaming for the Epstein tapes. They want videos of Trump getting a blowjob by a little girl. I know it would give you a high like you never had in your life. Yeah. Let's admit it. It would make you thrilled. Well, it was really what is all these Epstein
the Americans.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I understand.
Why is it wrong about the American people?
I didn't say right or wrong. I couldn't say right or wrong. You want the Epstein tapes out because you're looking to get Trump. If they have a video of Trump with a little girl, my God, you guys will go be in ecstasy, right? It'll be the best thing in the world. Because you make Trump.
Deserve the truth.
Right. Jules, he's a necrophiliac. He's not a pedophile. Necro would prefer to see Trump with a dead carcass in the middle of a graveyard. That is what gets Necro's feather tickled.
Now you're going to make him sleep but really happy tonight. But it's crazy. I don't know.
Try to use your words, Necro. I mean, you're a necrophiliac, right?
Yeah, maybe. Do you have pedophiles in Norway?
Necro, your response to what you would do for your people if you were king, it's not, a really great leadership position. I'm just so confused. Like, are you, what's it called?
You disagree with people being educated, you disagree with crime,
There's no universities in America. Universities in America standard for the world was until the Anderson came to rise. Maybe now you like it even better, but our colleges, they come from China, they come from Russia, they come from every part of the world to go to university in America. So don't tell me how to
I find it really interesting that MAGA seems to complain that, with the swap judgments that are made about, racism, but that is what they are doing by associating with communism, with, everything the Democrats do. That's what they assume about me. It never gets close to the double standard.
Do you really think there's something called MAGA, or is it really just not the Republican Party, Dr. Necro?
I think MAGA extends beyond the Republican Party. I think it's one of the reasons why Trump got independent support, was because, people are just really sick of the establishment.
You know what MAGA stands for, right?
Well, I understand people, it's populist. Yeah, I understand it's a populist movement that's about, trying to, America, that wants to put America first, essentially. And one of the reasons why I think why the Democrats are losing voters is because of the fact that, they...
Okay, I'm going to end this live stream in a little bit. I'm going to go exercise.
So essentially, America first is automatically more killing to, the average person, that's why to me, my
Quick chat update for you, Necro. Rich says that you sound like Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, so I would like to see Rudy Giuliani be as critical as I am of Trump.
I don't think he sounds like.
Yeah, I'm a little confused, Rich. Why do you think he sounds like Rudy Giuliani?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe because you're a young man, but you sound like an old man.
I've heard people say that I sound like Craig T. Nelson. That's something I do understand.
Necker, let me ask you a final question. When was the last time you did 10 pull-ups?
I actually just did it yesterday.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's great
Are
news.
you in college? Are you in college, Necro?
Yes.
I don't want to. You don't want to tell me what state you live in.
I live on the East Coast.
On the East Coast.
Yes.
Have you given up dating trannies?
No, come on. Did you, I know you support the boss. Did you march with, you know what?
I don't support those.
You don't support Israel.
I support Israel's right to, have its own state and defend its own people. I am not okay with murders.
War crimes?
Yeah.
Hamas committed war crimes.
Yeah, so Israel has the right to do 10 times the damage that was committed on October 7th.
Tenfold?
What's the amount you're allowed? Is there an amount you're allowed? I mean,
Proportionate, Jules. Proportionate warfare. You kill 2,000 of ours, we only kill 2,000 of yours. Proportional war.
Yeah, and are you critical of the state of Israel, the fact that they have held 7,000 people in detention, and we're criticizing their due process? I mean, Friday was something
great question. My position on that is that Israel shouldn't hold those people. They should kill them. The Hamas terrorists, and they used it for exchange of hostages. So they dribble out 2 hostages and get 1,000 soldiers back to kill more Jews. That's my position. Yes, they should be killed. Because what about the hostages?
So then why should Hamas respect the state of Israel? Israel kills Palestinians.
They know.
You're saying they shouldn't respect the state of Israel when Israel kills.
No, I'm not saying they should respect. I'm not saying
you don't want them to kill Israelis, and yet you're justifying why Israel should have the right to kill Palestinians who have not been convicted of a crime.
Right, because Israel, they're killing Israelis that haven't been convicted of crime. They went to a music concert, a rock concert. That was no crime. They say the existence of Israel is a crime to them. And the ones that are in prison did commit crimes, and that's how they got in prison. There are plenty of Palestinians that worked in Israel before the war. Israel opened up the gates to let them work in Israel. There are plenty of Palestinians or Muslims that live in Israel have rights in the Knesset. Israel is the most democratic country in the Mideast. Israel exists mainly because there used to be a Jewish community in Syria. Not anymore. There used to be a Jewish community in Iran and Iraq and all over the Mideast. Not anymore. And when I say Jews, I mean Jews and Christians. They're dwindling down to nothing. Only one country takes people of all races, all religions, all colors, all sexuality, and that's Israel.
Except
that
Palestinians, they kill women.
No, they don't kill Palestinians. They kill Hamas soldiers.
12,000 children have been killed lying at Israel's feet since October 7th.
They've been used as human shields by the
Oh, yeah, it's their fault.
Yes.
It's
no, what's
if you got hit by the police officer who dodged, him getting his baton.
Yeah, yes, it's their fault. It's their fault.
Oh my gosh.
My gosh. Who attacked who on October 7th or whatever day? Who attacked
How many people?
I don't know.
Prior to October 7th.
People commit crimes.
Yeah, but who created the crisis in Palestine? Who shuts off their electricity?
Israel left Palestine. Remember, there was a time when Israel had settlements in Palestine. Israel was in settlements in Palestine. Palestine. They left. The soldiers of Israel dragged those people who had the right and owned property in Palestine, and they took them out of Israel. It was to say Israel wanted peace. You know the expression, Necro, if Israel dropped all their weapons, they'd be mutilated.
In your view,
If Hamas dropped all their weapons, they'd have a state.
do you Palestinian has zero value? Palestinian child?
No,
But
no.
everybody should.
No, Hamas is killing them. Is it a war crime to use human children as shields? Is that a war crime?
To kill children, period.
Not by accident. If you stay in a populated area in schools, is it a war crime to use weapons on the schools, on the mosques, on the hospitals? Yes. And that's what they did. They built tunnels. They didn't want a prosperous
So how do you
nation.
spoke against the idea of, for how the universities have levels into their own?
The only thing I have against the IDF is they put themselves in danger of not firing because it's populated areas.
Yeah,
They put themselves in danger. I know they try not to kill children, yes. And what you tell me what country, what war ever broke out where one side has to feed the other side? You tell me what war ever broke out.
We're in existence.
Everyone is
Used to, where
we fed the Germans, we fed Japan during World War II. Come on.
yeah, that's totally what it is. Israel is a complete, is completely.
Necro, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been to Tel Aviv or Jerusalem?
Yeah, so have you ever been to Iran?
I'm asking you. I've been a couple times. I'm just asking you. Have you been?
Your question is,
Yeah.
the way he's going to
You ever go to Israel? Did you ever go to Israel, Necro?
Yeah, I'm not answering your question.
Well, yeah. You can't say yes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what.
Do I have a choice to answer?
You don't have to answer. How about this question? If I had 3 tickets, round trip tickets. One was to Israel, you can take that. One was to Syria, and one was to Iran. Which one would you pick? You have to pick one.